Welcome back to the John and Linetia show.
Now with 47% more fiber.
Fiber. Love fiber. And it seems like the rest of America loves fiber too, since our heads are getting larger.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you see that story?
Giant craniums of Americans.
Yeah. I guess that we're still evolving.
I would hope so.
I see that we're still evolving.
So I think those schools that don't want to teach evolution should just shut the hell up and notice that heads are getting huge.
According to, another study, of course, we've said this before, that I don't like studies. But, study said that they've studied about 1,500 skulls that dated from the mid-1800s through 1980s. And they noticed that the skulls gradually became larger, taller, and narrower.
They went to a skull store or something like that, or Skulls R Us. Where are they studying these skulls?
Where is the skull store located?
I don't know. That's what I'm wondering. I'm like, where are they getting these skulls? They're walking down the street and look, hey, let's study that pile of skulls over there in the corner.
Okay. Yeah, but it says that they found the skulls, and specifically, the story says white men has grown by 200 cubic centimeters, which is about the volume of a tennis ball.
Unless all of those larger skulls were people who had tumors the size of tennis balls.
Oh, I've never...
No.
Thought
all right.
I didn't think. This is how I feel.
Well, what about the black man? What's wrong
with
those
there's
skulls?
Nothing there. It's nothing about black women. There's nothing about Hispanic men, Hispanic women, Asian men, Asian women.
Indian men,
Indian
women.
Right. None of that's in the story.
Arab men,
nothing.
Arab women.
They didn't do it.
Canadian men, Canadian women.
Canadian?
Republican men.
I'm pretty sure Republican men have very large heads.
You think so? It's just that it's filled with some sort of a viscous liquid.
Some type of goop.
Liquid poo.
Maybe.
Feces.
Maybe. AKA ego. But this study only targeted white men and white women. I don't know. I think that would probably be obvious that we're still evolving. I mean, we're eating differently and probably better. We're exercising more. We're taking vitamins, doing things a little bit more healthier. And I would think that we'd probably be growing. I don't see where this story is probably
Remember, they're
wrong.
making hats much larger. They used to be tighter, and now they're looser, and so our heads are catching up to our heads.
I'm going to say this. You better not laugh at me either.
Okay.
When I was in school, I could never find a band hat to fit my head.
Yeah. Were they too big?
They were too small.
They were too small. See? You big head.
So it took a long time.
Is that why they called you bobblehead in school?
They never called me bobblehead. No, they didn't. But, I don't see where this was even like a story, because I think it's kind of obvious that people are changing. No, I don't know. Oh, well, speaking of change.
Speaking of change. So the comic book world, there was recent news that came out, blaring headlines that Green Lantern is now gay.
No, it can't be.
Yes, apparently so. Apparently the Green Lantern loves the guys.
Okay.
Apparently... you would think that they might change, the Green Pirate or something,
Right,
then it could
maybe.
be, never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John jokes, ladies and gentlemen, John jokes.
Anywho, so I'm a big comic fan.
I know.
I had some people, a gay friend asked me about this, and some non-gay friends.
Mm-hmm.
Someday I'm sure they'll make the choice. And they,
nice.
I was like, what do you think about Green Lantern's gay? And the thing is that this is a storyline out of DC Comics, and the fact is I've collected comics for over 20 years, and recently stopped collecting all DC Comics because they decided to make a change to their entire comic book line. They did basically a whole comic-wide universe reboot.
Okay.
And basically decided we're going to start. It's as if it's a brand new comic company. Everything that happened before, nothing, all that history is just washed away. And we're going to start everything from day one. And so what this really is they took an old comic book character, the very first Green Lantern from the 1940s, a guy named Alan Scott, and they made him gay. And it was like, instead of eventually getting married and having 2 kids, we're going to make him gay.
Okay, you know what? I don't have a problem with this. And let me tell you why.
Why?
People like you and a lot of my friends who are into comics and things like that, you guys have schooled me on different universes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, give you a good example. The Superman in the comic books is supposedly in a different universe from the Superman we saw in the movies.
Well,
from the Superman that we see on Smallville.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a different interpretation.
Different. So that's the way I look at this.
Yeah.
As a different way of Green Lantern. Just a different
It's a different interpretation. The only thing is the big question is, would a fictional character's sexuality preference or sexual preference, does that define a character? And I kind of look at it in this case. The roast is almost done. I look at it in this case, and I kind of say, well, in this case, it does define the character.
Okay.
They're basically coming out. They're basically making a big deal about it.
Okay.
Generally, in comics, even though it is mostly a media that is for young males, you don't see a whole lot of characters that are walking around going, I'm hetero, or there is not too many blatant scenes of sex and making out heterosexual. So the question is this an integral part of the character? And the ultimate answer, I would say, sadly, is yes.
Okay.
I almost feel like don't make a big deal about it and basically be like, yeah, he's gay, so what? That serves any kind of the gay community. That serves the story a lot better. Okay. It's you don't walk around. Nobody walks. You're working in an office with somebody, and all of a sudden, every day someone comes in and, hey, everybody, I'm gay. It just doesn't happen. Okay.
Right.
So
right.
The problem I have with I don't really have a problem per se, and it's like it's not like it's the old character I knew of Alan Scott is gone. They rebooted everything. I don't like what they did to their entire line, so I don't get any DC comics anymore. I used to get 30, 40 comics a month from DC. I get 0 now, okay? The fact that he's gay, I don't know that I would care too much because I like the Green Lantern character. In some cases in DC right now, they're changing some characters' genders. They're changing some characters' races. I feel like it's a total cop-out in my mind with the idea of, create a new character. Create a strong character, a strong gay character. Create a strong black character. Create another strong female character. But the problem is that, at least for DC Comics, that kind of creativity has been lacking over the last 20 years or so. So the best they can do is take a character that already exists and, you know what, we're going to make him gay.
Do you have any friends who have given you any info on this? Like, do you have any friends who are saying they're totally against this and they'll never read this again? Or
No.
do you have any friends who
Not at
are
all.
saying
Not at
they
all.
don't care? They really
It's a curiosity. I feel like it's more of a PR stunt than anything. And again, you know what? It shouldn't. The fact that the character is gay should not define the character. He should be just like everybody else. Just so happens that he's gay.
What about how it seems like homosexuality is coming out more in mainstream media? And do you think that had an impact on this?
do I think it's going to have an impact, or it's been impacted by
Or it's been impacted by
I think it has been, but it has more to do with, as a culture, we're pretty much finally coming to the point of general acceptance. So that, definitely, when it comes to especially, the whole gay marriage debate and things like that, and gay rights and like insurance rights and things like that, it's definitely a lot more accepted now than it was 20, 30, 40 years ago.
Right.
So it's still going to be more prevalent. But again, it's not, it shouldn't be all of a sudden, it's a thing. It shouldn't be like a fad.
Right.
And I kind of feel like DC Comics, it's sort of like they're jumping on like a gay fad. It shouldn't be that way. All of a sudden, hey, a bunch of our characters are going to be gay. And they sure as hell better make sure now that they've done this to this character that at least in the next, for this generation, the next 10, 20, 30 years, they don't all of a sudden redo the character and make him straight. Or God forbid, all of a sudden he, chooses to become straight. Guess what, DC? You've done this. Live with it. Okay. This is the company that kills characters off, but then not too long later they can't live with it, so they bring them back. This is the company that married Superman to Lois Lane, and this whole reboot, he's back to being single. Okay, so these kind of comic companies, they do these things as these stunts. Okay, if this is just a stunt, then it's horrible. Don't do this kind of crap and turn it around. So fine, he's gay, great. I wouldn't expect to be opening up the book and there's always, this male-to-male lip lock, or all of a sudden him in bed with a guy. I mean, it's about the character, but honestly, if that defines the character, then we're talking about some really bad writing.
Right. I saw an article about this the other day. It was basically, kind of a survey they took of some parents, and parents are in uproar about this. They're like, I'm not going to let my kids read something like this, I'm totally against this. You know?
Well.
But it's like, to me, it just doesn't matter. It's just a comic book series, Enjoy it for what it is, or don't buy it.
It's media. I think that any of the parents that are in an uproar about it, their kids probably don't buy comics anyway. And the fact is that this character likely won't be, outwardly gay on any cartoons in the Cartoon Network. Okay. It's just going to pretty much happen in the comic books.
Yeah, I would like to see how they're going to actually format that character. I really want to see.
All right, we'll be right back after these words from All New Black Cock by the Kardashians. Why use boring white cock when there's all that exciting exotic black cock out there? As seen on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, you know that each Kardashian sister swears by black cock and won't handle anything else.
You're listening to The John and Linetia Show.